So you don't need to be like extremely technical to kick off a company. Most probably, I would say that the most important thing is to be persistent.
Hello, everyone. Joining us today on Mobile App Daily is a remarkable entrepreneur and tech leader, Nick Nagatkin, the founder and CEO of Digis. Nick established Digis at just 19 years old, and under his leadership, the company has evolved into a top rated international software development service provider. Recognized by Forbes in the 30 Under 30 Europe Tech 2022, Nick has not only led Digis to a 100% year on year growth rate, but has also been acknowledged as the CEO of the year 2023 by WN Media Group UK. So, hello, Nick, and a very warm welcome to Mobile App Daily.
Hey, Tommy, nice to meet you.
Same here. So let's get started with your first question, Nick. So, celebrating your achievement once again as one of our top 40 under 40 professionals, what factors contribute to the success of your company and what makes you stand out from your competitors?
It's been a long and bloody way, in all honesty. So, up to this point, it took us 8.5 years to build the company. And in general, I've got already more than 11 years of experience in IT, expertise of in building products, experience with hundreds of them, literally. And yeah, I believe the main reason is that me and our core team, our top management, are really passionate about product development, are really passionate about startups because we know all those startup struggles, because that is our background. We love educating ourselves, we love learning new things, we're passionate about tech, and yeah, that comes at first place. All the other things, like we're very well optimized, we know how to develop software, they come later.
Wow. So, first of all, Nick, like reading about you and your journey is already very inspiring. So, anything that you share is like extremely insightful. So, coming to another question, I think that could be very useful for our users is that working with outsourcing companies can sometimes be a little risky. So, what are the main risks that you are aware of?
Well, lots and lots of them, and that is completely true. Just because sometimes we act as a customer as well to other outsourcing companies, to other service software development companies, uh, and there are a lot of risks. Like the main scenario, for example, is when you need to hire some guys, some software engineers team, and then you interview someone, but in the end you're working like with completely different guys, more junior ones, or like just different people coming out of nowhere, and that is always confusing. Another risk is when you're being oversold, and then the company is basically overselling their services, and then in a point where you're in the middle of a project, you cannot switch the team already because it is too complicated. But then you see that the team is not delivering either. So you're in between of two choices. You're burning your budget. You're not meeting your deadlines. You cannot launch the product, and that is probably the biggest risk with all of the outsourcing companies.
Let's backtrack a little bit about your journey. And since you are into coding and you are into technology, so anyone who sort of like isn't into technology often has a question whether being good at math impacts how good you become as a coder later. So, do you think that being proficient in this subject yourself, how do you think mathematics gives you an advantage, or is it not significant at all?
Well, I was proficient with mathematics when I was at school back then. I won numerous competitions in math and physics. Uh, my opinion is that the better is your basic logic, like
Mhm.
fundamental logic, the better you are as a software engineer, right? And then it's not only about math. is about logic in general, but math is related to the logic. So that is one of the ways how you can basically develop your logical skills. So that is why we tell that the better you know math, the better programmer you would become. But that is not the only way. So I knew many wonderful specialists who were not coming from that mathematical background.
But does mathematics usually play a role? Like you said, like you have to have good logic to have good math to be good at mathematics. So is that one of the factors that contributed to your entrepreneurial journey?
Uh, well, yes and no. So entrepreneurial background is a completely different things. Is a completely different thing. So you don't need to be like extremely technical to kick off a company. Uh, Most probably, I would say that the most important thing is to be persistent. So like you can learn everything that you would need, all of the business stuff, all of the technical stuff, as long as you're ready to spend like 9 years for building a company and educating yourself every day. It doesn't matter from which background you're coming from. Uh,
Mhm.
but yeah, math is definitely helpful.
So it's more of an intrinsic quality that helps as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so coming to your company, so most of the IT outsourcing companies have the same thing to say about themselves. So, what's the main difference about your brand that makes it stand out from globally from this overcrowded competition?
Mhm. Um, Lots and lots of things, but probably I would like to concentrate on one of them. And it is that we're not only a software development company that can cover your technical needs, but we're a product development company. So we can close the whole cycle of product development, starting from the ideation phase, marketing research, um, analysis of your market and stuff like that, and ending up with delivery of a complete project and maintaining it and assisting you with fundraising and other strategic matters. So that is what we do. And the way we do it is that we've got over those 9 years, we have accumulated a major network of actually founders, of VCs, of angel investors, of different knowledgeable specialists. So when we approach product development, we actually invite some advisors on our side to bring some domain knowledge that we're lacking. And we always have those people inside of our project teams who will tell us from the side of the field, like what is going on and what our customer is looking for. And
Mhm.
advisors are usually coming from VCs, so they do understand the market, or they're successful founders who already exited and they know how to make it work, and that helps a lot. Yeah, so we're not only a technical provider, but like we try to hit the goals of our customers, and that's the thing. On the other side, we have patented that approach, which we call smart outsourcing automation paradigm, is patented in the US, and it's about two main ideas. So smart outsourcing is an analogy with smart money. You as a project not only receiving like money, but an access to the expertise and experience of a company and to
Mhm.
the network, and that is what we provide as well. Yeah, so an automation part is basically about a very simple idea that everything that might be automated should be automated. And in the end, if you do it in the right way, you're very well optimized, and that is how you can provide to your customers the best value. So that is our idea.
Mhm. So, do you also like take regular feedback from your customers to keep on improving on your product and to keep on giving them better services?
Yeah, all the time. So we're collecting those feedbacks from the customers basically on a constant basis, like from each of them. We've got those retrospectives about each and any of our projects to understand what went well, what might be improved. And again, I would like to emphasize it. So I personally enjoy educating myself. I enjoy the learning process, and that is how I spent the last 11 years in the IT field and while developing our company. And that is the DNA of our company. So we constantly improve ourselves. We constantly introduce new services to our customers. Um, yeah, that's why that feedback is extremely important.
So, how do you deal in case like there's a really negative feedback? Because I think this is where companies often struggle when it comes to updating their approaches. Because sometimes entrepreneurs and people on this journey can be a little stoic and a little rigid in their approach. So, how to be a little flexible and to take feedback in a positive manner?
I'm not against getting a negative feedback. So, like, for
Hmm.
you that you did something wrong on
Right.
an architectural level in your company. So some processes or procedures they do not work, and sometimes I consider building a company as building a software because there are a lot of things in common actually. So as a developer, you would try to develop some code, and then after some time, like hours or days, you would first compile it and start testing and actually seeing the real life results. That is what usually happens in companies as well in businesses because you're building some procedures, you're building some roles, areas of responsibility, KPIs, and then you let it go and you see the real results like after weeks or months. Uh, and then you gotta have that feedback. So in development, you would see if your program, if your application is working or not, and in real life you're getting that feedback from your customers to understand whether they are satisfied. So um, yeah, it's not a problem for us receiving a negative feedback. It's not a usual case. I would rather say it's a rare one, but in all the cases it means that we did something wrong and there is that area for improvement, and improving is like in our DNA again. So
Yes. So your services offer both the technology and the resources
yeah.
that it can handle, right? So have you sold them as a combined service, like where you offer technology and resources both to somebody, to your client?
uh,
Mhm.
yeah, basically there are three main types of services, three or four.
Mhm.
Four. Four. So the first one is what we call outstaffing. So in case our customer is looking to ramp up his team and get that flexibility, he can come to us and we can provide him with some specialists who work under his management. They're 100% integrated into his team, and we just act as a back office or consultants. So we can just provide some advices, but we do not have a real impact on the whole development process, right? And that's the first one. The second one is end-to-end development. So in this case, a customer would come to us and tell like, I've got an idea or I've got something that I would like to develop. Do it for me as a company, as a specialist in IT field. And that is something that we would do. So we would build the whole process, the whole software, we would deliver it, we would educate the customers, employees about how to handle it. That would be. Uh, the third one is IT consulting. For those companies, sometimes my friends and strangers they approach myself with those requests like, I have been developing something for the last year or a couple of years, but now it's all broken. We do not meet deadlines. We do not have budget anymore. I'm not sure where it's going. So please, we gotta understand where is the problem. And then we step in, we analyze the project, the processes, we interview people, and we come up with our report on what should be improved, what should be fixed. And of course, we do assist our customers with recruiting in-house for some positions, just because we've got all those proprietary tools that we have developed for recruitment purposes.
Okay, interesting. So, as a software development solutions expert, which of these client requirements would you rank in priority? So, I'll be naming the requirements later on. So, also, like, how would you educate the client on why and why which matters and which does not really matter? So, first is exploring scalability opportunities. Second is reducing IT costs. The third is optimizing existing processes. So, firstly, which one would you rank as per the priority for a client?
Uh, well, there is really no single answer to that one, just because it varies so much from project to project. But I will try to give you like a generic one. In most of the cases, I would start with IT costs, with the cost of
Mhm.
solution, just because if there is no budget, then there is no budget. So there is
Right.
that you can do around it. And basically, in some of the cases, we tell to our customers like, your budget is just not enough to kick off the product. So even if you can cover the software development part, you don't have anything for the marketing, and that is not the way it works. So you better spend this money for the market research. You do ABC, and then you go raise some investments, and that is the way to launch your product. So we basically educate them about the product development and product launch process. The second one is probably about optimizing the current processes, just because uh, if you're able to optimize some of the current processes, you will see an early traction, a traction that you as a business would understand right away, just because you do understand your current processes, your current
Mhm.
overheads, and if you can optimize them right away, then you would understand the math behind the development and what is your ROI. So
Mhm.
that's quite important. And the third one is scalability. So of course it is important, but in most cases, it is fine for an early stage project or startup to develop some first version quick and dirty to get some first traction, then raise some investments, and then rebuild it from scratch in order to make it scalable. That is why I arrange it as is.
Okay. So, and now coming to another question, which we thought that could be a really big problem in this industry. So, one of the most regretted phases in IT outsourcing is post consultation ghosting. So many clients they just fly away with the expert consultation one provides and get the main work done by a cheaper offshore partner. How do you think we can minimize this challenge? And do you often face this challenge as well?
Uh, well, our positioning at Digis is that we're very well optimized. So what we tell to our customers, and that is basically the truth, is that our overheads are 30% less than the market's benchmarks, which means that when we do provide the same rates as the rest of the market,
Mhm.
then it means that our quality, the quality of our specialists, the quality of our delivery is just better. And usually we're cheaper than our competitors. Then it comes to the geography, right? So everybody knows that for the consultants in the US, you would pay the most. And then when it's coming to the East, they are cheaper. And then it really depends on the project's goals. Just because we at Digis are present in 6 countries, so it is Mexico, Poland, Romania, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, and Georgia. So pretty much different time zones, very different talents. Uh, we like those locations because of cost efficiency and a really good cost to quality ratio. Uh, yeah, and then for us, in most cases, when we provide consultancy, our customer, and if our customers would actually launch that product, they would stay with us just because if we already provided a good piece of advice, if it is useful, uh, why do they go? Why would they go for our competitors if we're cost efficient? That's the thing.
Yeah.
But of course, if you're like a company that charges like I don't know $150 per hour or $300
Mhm.
per hour, and your potential customer could buy a similar work for like $40 per hour, why would he overpay? That thing.
So the key is to actually stay up to date with the market rate all the time.
Yeah, I guess.
Mhm. So, based on your extensive knowledge in the IT industry and your experience, how do you see IT outsourcing evolving in the next 5 years?
Ah, it's hard to tell actually. So right now
Mm.
we're in a very uh, unpredictable, chaotic times, right? With all of those wars worldwide, economical recession, global crises, and approach of AI, of course. So talking about AI, I'm quite afraid of it. Uh, Even though I'm a huge fan of the technology, and I was growing reading all those sci-fi books all the time, still, uh, yeah, it, I'm quite afraid that we as a humanity are not ready for it. So for IT outsourcing, I'm trying to be on top of that. That's the reason why we opened our own AI R&D laboratory where we develop our own proprietary solutions. Uh, and basically, I can see two scenarios for IT outsourcing. So the first one is that AI technology like ChatGPT or anything is going to reach that level where it could potentially develop whole applications by itself. Like we're reading from the news all the time, like software engineers are not needed anymore. Startup founder saved like 50,000 USD by developing with ChatGPT, blah blah blah. In this case, we're going to see basically the change of the market itself. Like the global IT market is going to change, so we are not going to need that many software engineers. So if right now for a usual product you would need a team of like 8 different specialists who are software engineers, project managers, quality assurance, designers, blah blah blah. In this case, you would need only like 3 people, from which one would be a software architect to develop it on a high level, another one ChatGPT operator to basically create some code, and probably a tester to or a product manager to slash tester to actually test the results and come up with new product ideas. That would be it. So we would see a significant reduction in workplaces. Um, or from the other side, AI technologies might only empower those software engineers, assisting them and speeding them up, like all those technologies as Copilot and others. And in this way, the market would not change dramatically, right? So those are two main scenarios. Talking about geographies, talking about some other trends is complicated right now because really the global context changes like every month with new conflicts, with new wars. I'm not sure what's going to happen about the economic recession, so no predictions here. Uh, the thing I'm sure about is that we're getting better as a company, so that is what I'm doing. I'm still educating myself and I am improving our processes and procedures. And I'm sure that we work better than we worked 1 year ago. And in this way, we would be all right, despite of any context.
So that's interesting. Something that really piqued my interest was how you spoke about AI and its potential threats that you suspect. And at the same time, that your company is also working on developing AI technologies and it's actively using it. And so, do you think that your approach is different from what is being followed in the market? And is there some sort of like, are there some sort of ethics that need to be taken care of when you're in this industry?
Well, definitely. Ethical questions right now are one of the most important when it comes to AI, because my feeling, it is not confirmed publicly by anyone by facts, but my feeling is that technically wise, we're already somewhere extremely near to AGI, artificial general intelligence. And my feeling is that what stops us from progressing towards it faster is actually ethical and moral questions and limitations that governments would put on those companies developing AGI, because it is too powerful for the current state of humanity. So that's just a thought. That said, most of IT outsourcing companies, they develop some really basic and clear solutions, like computer vision. Um, Tell me what is this, what is on that picture. Describe me what is in this document and blah blah blah. So
Mhm.
it's not really that much about ethics, and most of IT outsourcing companies would not face it. Only the ones which are really deep in tech.
Okay, so like, what would you suggest to anyone who's a budding entrepreneur and in this industry? Like, what should they take care of when they are, in general, first of all, like, what would you tell any kind of an entrepreneur? And especially if they are developing something using AI, what is something that they should take care of?
Uh, well, first of all, as an entrepreneur in IT outsourcing, I would keep an eye on AI technology, just because that is one of the existential threat to the whole market and whole industry. So you gotta be on top of it. You should understand the current AI capabilities. You should develop it by yourself. Second
Mhm.
thing is that um, in this industry there is too much fraud, like the topic we started with. So all of those risks of outsourcing. And many companies on the market, they are not actually needed because they only act as middleman. They don't have like any added value. They do not actually know how to develop software. They cannot consult their customers. They never launched products. They do not understand how to conduct marketing researches. And why do they do that software development? So uh, their very existence is what I'm questioning. And
Right.
those companies would actually struggle a lot during the next couple of years, because we're dealing with a complicated market. So, like, the global IT market is reducing. All those layoffs, they add like a bad context to the industry as well. So those companies need to educate themselves as fast as possible on what, why are they there? What is their strong point? Like, do they provide an access to a certain location? Like, for example, providing an access to top-notch Pakistani talents, Indian talents, and in this case, their expertise is in recruiting, and they're more of a recruitment company, right? Or do they really develop anything? And in this case, what is their approach? What is their differentiator? Without it, they would not exist for a long period.
Yeah, I think I completely second that, because I do believe that there are a lot of people in this industry who just pretend to develop and they're just in the middle, actually just for the money. So, how do you think that when you're outsourcing or when even as a client, so how do you spot such people? Is it like based on checking whether they're developing any kind of product or not? Should that be the benchmark?
The benchmark for what, like customers?
Just for customers. Yes.
Uh, well, we do have the screening procedure, the screening process in place. Uh, it's an extremely complicated one, but we do understand who is our ICP, like startups, which industries, on which stages, if they are funded, do they have enough budget for our services, and stuff like that. We don't understand our other ICPs who are coming from small and medium enterprises, like what are they looking for, if they're funded, how are they doing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's basically it.
Okay. So, now coming to Mobile App Daily. So, how has Mobile App Daily as a platform helped your company? What direct benefits can companies like yours gain from onboarding Mobile App Daily as a service provider?
Well, we will see after that interview, right?
And now going a little bit back to your childhood, since you also referred this one thing that you've grown up watching these sci-fi movies where, this AI just went out of control and controlled the world. But in general, for an entrepreneur, what movie would you say is a must watch?
Mm, my problem is that I know most of those movies uh, in Russian, in my mother tongue, so I'm not sure what are the titles in English.
Mhm.
That one great was Will Smith, like Chasing the Dream or something like that. Uh,
With
autobiography of some trader from Wall Street.
okay, yes, it's with his son. It's
Yeah,
Jaden Smith and Will Smith together.
yeah,
Yes,
that this. So
I
I
just that I just forgot the name of the movie.
yeah, and
The
nevertheless,
Pursuit of Happiness. The Pursuit of Happiness.
yeah, yeah, might be. So I do enjoy all of those biography movies about other entrepreneurs. I do enjoy, for example, the background of
Mhm,
Richard Branson. That was one of the first books in that entrepreneurial field that I read, um,
mhm,
and they're pretty inspiring. You do understand that there are some other people doing really great things around, and
mhm.
yeah, I always wanted to be one of them.
That's nice. So basically, watching something that inspires you and somebody else who can inspire you on your journey.
Yeah,
Great. So thank you so much, Nick. That was amazing. Your insights were actually very valuable. So I had an amazing time. Thank you so much.
thank you so much, Tanvi. I enjoyed it as well.
Yes, so that concludes our insightful conversation with Nick Nagatkin, CEO of Digis. We're truly grateful for your valuable insights and we wish you continued success in your ventures. So, to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us on Mobile App Daily. Stay tuned for more engaging interviews and discussions. Until next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.